In this video, we'll discuss how to design a secure email system. Now, a secure email system should provide confidentiality, message integrity, as well as authentication. Now, how do Alice and Bob achieve that? Let's assume that Alice wants to send some message M to Bob. Now, we'll first keep message integrity and authentication aside and just focus on confidentiality. So Alice wants to send this confidential email to Bob. What could she do? Bob and Alice could use symmetric key cryptography. That is, they could decide on a symmetric key, and then Alice could use this symmetric key to encrypt her message and send it over to Bob. Bob can then use the symmetric key to get the original message. The biggest issue with this is Alice and Bob have to meet to discuss what is the symmetric key. Another approach is to use public key cryptography. In public key cryptography, what Alice could do is Alice could use Bob's public key to encrypt the message. She could then send that message, and then Bob could just decrypt the message using his private key. This would work fine, but the only issue is that this process is very computationally expensive. Encrypting long messages with the public key and decrypting them using the private key is computationally expensive, and it is not possible in practice. So in practice, what Alice does is Alice generates a random symmetric key KS. She then encrypts this message with KS, the message M with KS. What she also does is she uses Bob's public key to encrypt KS. She then sends KSM, which is the message M encrypted with the symmetric key KS, and KBKS, which is the symmetric key encrypted with Bob's public key, to Bob. Now, what does Bob do? When Bob receives these two messages, Bob first uses his private key to obtain the symmetric key KS. Once he has obtained the symmetric key KS, he then uses it to recover the original message M. Having looked at confidentiality, now let's keep that aside for a second and let's see how Alice could provide sender authentication and message integrity. At this present moment, we are not concerned with confidentiality. Now, to provide authentication and message integrity, what Alice could do is she could take the original message M and apply a hash function to it. This hash function could be MD5 or SHA-1. She then takes her private key and encrypts this message. She then sends over this encrypted message as well as the original message in plain text to Bob. Note once again that we are just concerned with message integrity and authentication here. Now, once Bob receives this two messages, what Bob could do is Bob could first use Alice's public key to get HM. Alice has also sent over the plain text message M. He could apply the hash function, which is also publicly known, to get another HM. He could compare both of them to figure out if this message was actually sent by Alice. Having studied how Alice can provide confidentiality and message integrity individually, we now focus on designing a secure email system that provides secrecy, sender authentication, and message integrity. To achieve this, Alice first focuses on message integrity. What she does is she takes the message M, applies the hash function over it, and after that she encrypts it with her private key. She then takes this encrypted message as well as the original plain text message M and uses the symmetric key developed for this session and encrypts both of them with that. She also encrypts her symmetric key with Bob's public key. She then sends both of them over the internet to Bob. Once Bob receives this message, what he does is he uses his private key to decrypt and obtain the symmetric key for the session. Having obtained the symmetric key for the session, he applies this to first get the original message M as well as H of M. He then also verifies by using the hash function H whether it was Alice who originally sent the message. So from this slide, what we have learned is the entire pipeline to design a secure email system. Thank you, and with this, I'll end this video.